Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afaula Yasmin. I'm student from University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Faculty of International Law and Sharia. So yeah, I will explain about my PPT. The title is a minimum wage and wage system during COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia and Malaysia. So the first slide. The current COVID-19 pandemic has had a major impact on the employment sector, especially in wages. For workers, wages are the main reason for working. Wages are worker right that are received and expressed in the form of money for a job or service that has been or will be performed. Many of these workers have not been paid or even given not at all during this pandemic. The government has recognized this wage work for worker as well as a good wage system and has begun to set a determination for now, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, wage determination as a fairly sensitive issue in the employment relationship because if it is too small, the worker will not receive it. So the government needs to review this matter so that no party is harmed. COVID-19 was originally discovered in Wuhan, China in 2019. The pandemic had plagued and spread throughout the world and become one of the deadliest pandemic. In September 2021, 2021, after two years of battling the pandemic, the report deaths from the virus were over 46 million. There are so many side effects caused by this pandemic. Many have lost their life due to suicide. Most of whom are unable to deal with this situation, are afraid of being exposed to COVID-19, are in debt, have no source income since they were laid off from their job or business, decided to take unpaid leave or cut wages. So, minimum wage in Indonesia during pandemic COVID-19, the spread of the coronavirus disease 2019, pandemic that has impact and threatens Indonesian economic growth, among others, due to declining state revenue and global economic uncertainty. In addition, the provision of wages to workers was also affected, especially when the beginning of the coronavirus occurred in Indonesia. Economic activity in Indonesia were stopped so that many of the company reduced wages to workers, even some were not given wages at all. Economic activity that is disturbed is due to change in the state revenue and spending budget APBN, the change in the state budget in 2002, 2022, 2020, is quite clear due to the COVID-19 virus. The Indonesia government immediately took fiscal policy for the country finance needed to deal with the risk of the COVID-19 virus. Minimum wage is a minimum standard used by employer or industry players to provide wages to workers in their business or work environment. According to Government Regulation Number 17A of 2015 on wages, Article 41, Paragraph 2, said the minimum wage is entered is the lowest monthly wage consisting of A, wages without benefit, or B, basic wages including fixed allowance. So as you can see here, yeah, this is the explain about the wages in Indonesia. And this slide 2 talk about the same topic. So yeah, we will move to the application minimum of wages during COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. In light of this at first impact, we would like to discuss more about the economy, since the enactment of the Movement Control Order or MCO, which cover economic activity where most of the time work is more than required or most of the others are no longer allowed to operate. It has a negative impact not only on society but on the business itself. According to the Department of Statistics 22 2022, 2020. I'm sorry. It has been reported that 16.7 and each person of company or business establishment in Malaysia did not generate revenue or did not generate revenue during the MCO period in the 2020. Application of minimum wage during COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. According to a study, company in Malaysia tend to reduce employers' working hours, offer unpaid leave, and even fire them during the MCO period. In addition to survive, 16.9% of business owners use their own money and saving to cover operational costs. Furthermore, the Malaysia Employers Federation estimates that nearly half of Malaysian entrepreneurs have lost their jobs as a result of MCOs, while 28% of entrepreneurs have lost more than 19% of their income. According to the International Labour Organization, employees with low paying and low skill position are the most affected and may face difficulty in continuing their work either remotely or digitally as they become part of employers' mitigation effort. However, the government has made every effort to overcome this. They have adopted a creative business model to reduce losses, to reduce loss. And the government has made several policy and initiative, namely the National Economic Recovery Plan, or in Malay, it is called the State Economy Plan for the first time, or abbreviated as Penjana, the wage subsidy. So for the last slide is a conclusion. The COVID-19 virus pandemic has resulted in many major problems in people's life from all walks of life. It started with economic, social, and political difficulty and with labor problem. And as a result of the COVID-19 virus pandemic in Indonesia, the government is issue especially policy requiring the temporary suspension of activity that cause growth, such as educational activity at school, working in company, activity in public place, and religious activity in place of worship. During the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, solving the problem of hiring low-paid worker or employers. The impact of the COVID-19 outbreak has also greatly affected the business world and industry as well as the employment sector. The impact of the COVID-19 outbreak is a slowdown and decline in economic growth and has an impact on workers who even before the pandemic often experience discriminatory practice in the workplace. The disparate economic activity was caused by change in the state budget or APBN. So yeah, the 22 states budgets changes are quite clear due to the COVID-19 virus. The Indonesia government immediately took a fiscal policy for state finance needed to deal with the risk of the COVID-19 virus, micro and small. The condition of the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly influenced the policy of increasing the minimum wage because it is determined based on the component of the rate of economic growth and inflation. So yeah, thanks for your attention and thanks for your spending your little time to watching my video. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semoga bermanfaat.